Hello everyone, and welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. Guys, you know, when I work with a paper line or, a paper pad, this is the one I'm working with today. And I did get this through my design team package with ASC Crafts. And the cut aparts page, if I'm not making a mini album, I'm kind of stuck on what to do with the cut apart pages. So I went ahead and made a little something, and from the 8x8, this is all I have left. But I still have the larger 12x12 paper pad. So this is what I came up with, guys. This is I saw her tutorial, call it something. I can't remember the name of her channel, but she made one. And her measurements, of course, were different. And I, saw how she made it. And I went ahead and figured out my measurements so I could use my cut apart page. So this is the little mini album. I guess it's a Waterfall mini album. And I went ahead and used all the cut apart page, which had 6 cut aparts on it. So on the front, I just put some green glitter cardstock on the bottom for the first mat, and the second one is one of the pages that I cut down to fit inside the green glitter page or mat. And then this is one of the chipboard pieces, and I put that up on foam so it'll have a little dimension. And this is one of my poinsettias that I worked on this week, along with the holly leaves. And then I put some little trim here at the bottom, and I went ahead and put stickles on just about everything, just so it could give it that pop that it needed. And then on the little gusset right here, I just cut a really thin green glitter cardstock and stuck it on there. And then on the back, I just put the rest of that page that I cut up for the front. So when we open it up, this is the front page, and they can actually put a picture right there. And these are the little cut aparts that I will show you later on in the video. But this is the little pull tab, and you just pull it, and there we go. And the picture can go right here, and you can actually put a picture in front of the cut apart page. But there you go. It was very easy to make. Like I said, it was a little challenging because I had to figure out my own measurements. And the tutorial is going to be a voiceover because my husband was very sleepy, and of course my craft area is in the bedroom, and I was crafting very quietly, so it'll be a voiceover. But anyway, and I don't even know, I didn't even see what the final size was. I think it was 4 by 5 and a 4 1/4 by 5. That is the final size on the project. So let's go on to the tutorial, and hopefully I don't miss anything. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we need 6 pieces of cardstock, and this is 110-pound cardstock because I wanted it to be really sturdy. So we need 6 pieces of 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. So that accommodates the cut aparts from the collection, and there were 6 of them, so we need 6. So the next thing we need is a 4 by 4 piece of cardstock, and this one again is 110 pounds. We need a strip that is 3/8 of an inch wide by 9 inches long. And we need our base piece, which is 10 1/4 by 4 3/8. And we're going to score at 5 and 5 1/4. So we need the base that is 9 by 4. This is what's going to make the mechanism for the waterfall. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and score the shell, the outer part of our mini album. So we're gonna score that at 5 and then 5 1/4. We're gonna, give it a little gusset so it'll have some breathing room. So that is the outside of the Waterfall, the mini Waterfall album. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold on the score lines to go ahead and get it ready. There we go. So that looks like it's gonna work out nicely. Okay. So now we're taking our 9x4 and we are going to score every 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to start at 2 1/4 for this. Now, okay, so I said 3/4 of an inch and it is 3/8 of an inch. So we're going to start scoring at 2 1/4. And then, if you are going to, you can see me counting 3 little spaces. That makes 3/8 of an inch. So we're scoring at 2 1/4. Just in case I get one of these wrong, that's why I'm telling you that how I'm counting. So 2 1/4, we're going to do 2 5/8, 3, 3 3/8, 3 3/4, 4 1/8, and then the last one is going to be at 4 1/2. There we go. I'm counting, make sure I have 6 spaces there because, I have 6 flaps that I'm gonna glue down. And I'm gonna go ahead and burnish all of those score lines. Okay, so I have all my score lines folded and I'm going to take my little panels here and I am going to glue them down to the space, not the fold line, okay? I'm going to glue each one of them onto that little space that is 3/8 of an inch wide. And I want to make sure that everything is even on the top and the bottom. So we skipped that very first score line because to the left of that score line is where that very first, space was at that we needed to glue down. So, but before I do that, I am going to go ahead and I think I'm going to ink the edges because, I'm going to take off some of that cream color. I felt like it was a little too much. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all around the edges on both sides on all 6 cards. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down I'm going to go ahead and glue down all of my cut parts. Okay, so here I am. I've got all of my little cut parts glued down to my panels here. And now I am going to go ahead and start to glue these down. So you want the widest part of your strip of paper to be to the left of you. So the shorter part is going to be to the right side. That is where we're going to glue the very first panel down at. And we are going to put glue right in the center of that empty space, that 3/8 inch space. And we're going to start to glue down our panels. And we need to make sure that it's even on the top and the bottom. Okay, and you want to get a really good adhesion there because they are going to be moving. And I made sure that I didn't glue down on my fold lines because it's going to be a moving part, so you need that fold line if you want your waterfall to move correctly. So I'm going to continue to glue these down until I get to the very last one. Okay, I have all my little panels glued down and I'm going to fold that large piece back because that is the back of the waterfall. Now I'm going to take my how much was that? 3/4 inch strip of paper or cardstock, and I'm going to put it between the two back pages, okay? So between the very back one, right before the first panel, and then the last one that we folded back. And then I am going to take this strip and I am going to fold it over, and just with my hands, I'm going to fold it over, and that is, like it's a measurement that we're going to need for the next step. So let me take it off. Okay guys, before we keep going, I am going to go ahead and burnish. I'm going to turn each little page and burnish that down so that, those folds can move easily. So all I'm doing here is just burnishing down each page. It's a lot easier for the mechanism to work when it flows freely. Okay. So now that I know that moves freely, I'm gonna just cut a piece of ribbon for the little pull tab that we need, and I'm gonna glue it in half just so it's a little sturdier when it is pulled. And then we are going to go ahead and glue that down on the back side of the waterfall so that it can be pulled, okay? Okay, so we are going to add our little pull tab to the back of the very back page, the one that's folded. We're going to glue that down, and then we are going to glue that cardstock, which is 110-pound cardstock, 4 3/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so here I am just gluing down my little pull tab. I'm trying to center it and make sure that it's, centered. I should have measured, but I didn't. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. The sturdier that back piece is, the easier your waterfall moves, because that is going to, move back and forth. And that's what's going to carry and retract your little waterfall. So here I'm just gluing it down. And I'm gluing it, this is the very back of your waterfall. So let's glue this down, make sure it's glued over that little tab. Now we are going to take this little strip that we had measured, and I accidentally glued it together, so you'll see me pull it apart because it wasn't supposed to be glued down just yet. Okay, so I've already pulled apart my little strip there. Now between that last flap or that last mat and the back of the page, that's where we're going to glue that strip, okay? And if your mats were larger, if our mats were larger, we wouldn't be gluing so close to the edge. But we're going to glue this down right to the edge because our mats are pretty small. And this was the best way that I could make it work. Gluing it down very well right to the edge, okay? So you're going to glue that down. There we go. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead, I'm burnishing that to make sure that it's down well. We're going to go ahead and glue those two together, which is that last mat, that last panel to the back of the mechanism. Okay? So I didn't glue it to the very last page of the waterfall mechanism. I just glued that last mat down onto the cardstock that, you know, touches it. Okay, so there we go. It is glued down. Now I'm gonna flip it over. There we go. Now that's the way it works. Okay, so I am going to flip it over, fold it again. Okay, now we're folding it, and then now we are going to go ahead and glue those flaps down. But don't get any glue onto the mechanism. This is going to be a moving part, so you only want glue on the little flap to seal it closed. That's the way I felt like, you know, it was very, very secure. See, right there, I just put a piece of, you know, cardstock under it, so I knew that it wasn't getting glued down to that last flap. Now, I am going to go ahead and put glue only on the strip. Okay? Make sure that you don't put glue to where it's going to ooze out. That's why I'm not going so close to the edge, because I don't want it to ooze out. The next thing we're going to glue, and the only thing it is that one strip. Now we're going to take our card base that we had made earlier, and we are going to center that where we want it. So I want it right before the score line, and I want it, you know, even from the top and the bottom. And then once I have it where I want it, I will press that one strip down and make sure that it's got a really good adhesion. All right, guys, there we go. I don't think I glued that back flap to the mechanism, and nope, I didn't. There, it works perfectly. Oh, I love that. So now I do feel like I left that little tab a little too long, but you know, it's on there. So I'm going to use this twine for the closure. I had thought I was going to put a magnet on there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and use that twine, play with the mechanism, and do some decorating. I'll be right back. There we go, guys, completed. And I of course showed you the review at the beginning, so I want to open it back up and show you how it works. So we open it that way, and then we pull this little tab, and there we go. Super easy. It was a little challenging just because I had to figure out the measurements on my own, but it was well worth it, because like I said, we always neglect the cut aparts, and this is a good way to use them. There we go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and there we go. Hopefully you are able to make one. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching.